Bueno, buenos días. Pues ya no son buenos días, buenas tardes. Good afternoon to all of you. Esta reunión va a ser realizada por un formato híbrido. Solamente las autoridades y invitados especiales que están en la casa, sino también con distintas personalidades y miembros del CARI que nos están siguiendo a través de nuestras redes. Bueno, it's a great pleasure, honestly, Ambassador Hussein Al-Sari, Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, to hold you again here because please. Ya está. Because we remember that we organized in occasion of the visit of the Minister of Foreign Relations of the Kingdom, the excellent meeting that we organized together was very, very positive for all of us. Thank you, my friend Manuel Cabrera, que is the coordinator of the Committee of Middle East of CARI. It's our new generation. They are coming in to be in charge in the activity. But we have with our Vice President, Francisco de Santibáñez, our General Secretary, Lila Roldán Vázquez, and our Director of Latin American Group, a member of the Executive Committee also, Carola Ramón. And at the same time, we have the honor to have here the two former ambassadors from Argentina to Saudi Arabia. Thank you both for being here. Honestly, to receive your comments today, dear Ambassador, about the foreign policy of your country, it is very important. Despite of that, we were talking, it's very important for us, our bilateral relation and the different opportunities that we are having in terms to increase our relation and to have the more productive and positive activities. But at the same time, with the special moment that we are living around the world and the big challenges that we are having at the global level, it is very important to receive the point of view of your country, about not only your region, about the world. The big challenge that we have environment issues with the international system, with the pandemics, with the new possibilities of energy, and also some crises that we are having in this moment around the world. For the reason, thank you for being here. Ambassador Hussein Al-Sari is the ambassador in Argentina. He was the chief of mission in the embassy in Beijing 2002. Deputy directors of cultural issues in the Minister of Foreign Relations. He was also the chief of mission in Canberra. He was the vice chief of mission in China. He was director of Europe in the Ministry of Foreign Relations of your country. He was the ambassador in Mexico 2000 and 2015, and director of Latin America and the Caribbean and the Oceania region, the Minister of Foreign Relations. We received the comments of our previous ambassador. How was your excellent and friendly reception and how we were supporting them in all the activities. For the reason they are the best expression about your commitment with the region and with our country. Thank you so much. And finally, he represents a very important country that was the only country in the World Cup that defeated the world champion. And for the reason, our high recognition. And we maintain excellent relations in spite of. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ambassador Bordon, for this nice invitation. Have a chance to talk to the members of the CARI and to see my old colleagues, those former ambassadors of Argentina and Saudi Arabia. They were colleagues and friends, and they are other ambassadors of Saudi Arabia here because they know my country and they can speak about my country maybe better than me because they are Argentinians, they live the experience, they know the country. So I'm very glad with participating in this forum in their presence. Sorry if I would like to talk in English, but if any point it's not clear or anything not clear, we please the participants, they can ask, and I will be more than glad to clarify in Spanish and English with the assistance of the President's friends in this meeting. Saudi Arabia win the cup. Argentina win the cup because of the assistance of Saudi Arabia. So it's one of the marks that we refer to it as a good thing between us. Because it was the wake-up call that made the Argentinian team come back to his strength and his glory. So we are very happy that Argentina win the cup. We share this happiness because a lot of Saudis like Argentina, they like football. They follow the news of Argentina in many occasions and in many media news in Saudi Arabia. We have some fans. We have more than 37,000 fans of Boca Junior in Saudi Arabia. So sports is one of the good and nice aspects of our relationship. But unfortunately, today we will focus in politics only. So if you allow me, I will speak about Saudi Arabia in general, just as an introduction. Saudi Arabia is a unique country by its position between Africa, Asia, and Europe. So we are very connected in our location in the world. We are part of Asia, but we are close to Africa, close to Europe, and very well integrated with neighbors and Asia. And this location gave us the historical advantage. This area, it is well known thousands of years. We are not far from Jerusalem, and we are not far from the land of the three religions. It is the homeland of Islam. It is the host of the most important two mosques for Muslims that give us a special character and a special place in the Islamic world. So our position, our commitment to Muslims and Islam give us more duties as a country. We help our neighbors. We do our duties regarding the holy two places, because the annual pilgrimage, which is more than 2 million people in a small period of time, it's not an easy task. We have this honor, and we have excellent relations with Islamic countries. We have excellent relations with Europe. And the other advantage is the economical power and capacity of Saudi Arabia as member of the G20, as the largest oil producer in the world. This is also give us another duties and another commitments to help the world to maintain development and prosperity because oil is a very strategic good that every country needs. So if the oil of prices goes very high, people and countries, they were complaining. If it is too low, other countries and people complaining. So we have the duty to coordinate with other countries our policy regarding oil, and so all of these made Saudi Arabia a very important country. And Saudi Arabia, in its nature as a huge country, 2 million, more than 2 million square kilometers. It's a huge space. We have green areas, we have deserts, we have sea, we have this huge space give us the chance to develop and serve our people in the best way that the government can do. So I will talk now about the growth of the economy. We have a strong economy because of the policies that the government is applying. We do not depend on oil only. The government adopt a plan which is 230. The 230 plan concentrate in diversification of the economy. So we are not depending on oil only. We have other products. We export metal, we export pipes, we export food to our neighbors. We have a huge dairy company that produce enough to feed Saudi Arabia and to export to other countries. We have huge investments. So we have other resources, other oils. Many people, they think that Saudi Arabia only oil. If the oil stop, we will die. No, it's not. We have other resources, and we have this plan 2030 to focus more in the desertification of the economy, to have more resources not related to oil. Many countries, they think that Saudi Arabia also is against environment, supporting selling oil. No, we have big projects for renewable energy. The government decided by 2050, the country will be working totally with renewable energy, not with oil, not using or selling oil. So this is our vision, this is our plan for the future. We have more than $200 million investments in solar energy. We have we encourage other private sector of Saudi Arabia to invest in solar energy, because it is the best renewable energy that we are having a good capacity to produce electricity and energy. So this is the facts about Saudi Arabia. If we would like to talk about the politics and the foreign relation, allow me to start with explaining about the government, the political system of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, the head of the government is the king. The king is the head of the state and the head of the government. And we have in our system, the king is from the royal family. Why from the royal family? Because the royal family, they have a history of about 300 years as rulers in that area. This 300 years give them a lot of respect, a lot of connectivity with the people. So no dispute about respect for this family. 300 years, we are similar or close to the British monarchy in Britain. 300 years they were rulers. They started in 1000 727. This is the first Saudi government, and it was called Emirate, because in that time, in the middle in the desert, there is no big state, only Emirate. And Emirate, it was contained of a few houses. So it was civilized, it was more stable, because in the middle of the desert, you have people moving here and there. But that one is a civilization, a city with houses, with farms, with people settled in that area. And this family was ruling, they were governors. So this long history for the Saudi monarchy give them a lot of respect, give them the potential to deal with everyone equal. So people from east, people from west, north, for them the same, because they are royal family. They are not belong to one region rather than other region. So one important element of the stability of Saudi Arabia, one important and the most important element of stability in Saudi Arabia is the royal monarchy. So the king is the head of the state, and usually held by the crown prince. So the crown prince is the one who will be king after the current king, and he's as vice prime minister. So he helps in ruling the country. And then we have ministers. So this is the executive part of the government, the executive authority of Saudi Arabia. And ministers, they have also other every minister, he has his own ministry. But I received many questions about Saudi Arabia. I read in the news, one of the important thing here is clarifying some things that media doesn't talk about. The media in Argentina, they just copy from what is published in the United States and other agencies, but they do not publish some other factors. The other factors that Saudi Arabia is a government organized by a system and working according to this system. So it's not one man decision as some newspaper they say, but it is well organized and efficient in deciding, taking decisions. So the process for taking any decision starts from the ministers. The ministers, they send their proposals, their what is required approval from the government to the royal court, or the council of ministers headed by the king. Ministers, they discuss, and after approval, they send it to the king to make the decision. So this is the process. Sometimes when they need legal assistance, for example, like agreements, we have the experts authority. This experts authority, they discuss any legal agreement, any legal commitment of the government before sending them to the Council of Ministers or to the king. And after that, the ministers, they take a decision, and the king is the final step. So this is a process that we do in every single thing in the country, because without organization, you cannot have a country, you cannot have a government. Without process, clear process, and every minister, he has the right to request or to contract with any think tank in the world to assist in doing studies, to help him with information that he needs to make decisions. So this is in general. And Other people, they ask about the relationship between the Shura Council and the government. Of course, every country, there are three authorities: the executive, the legislative, and the legal authorities, or judicial authorities. For Saudi Arabia, the Shura Council is the parliament. They are recognized internationally as a parliament. They are members of the World Parliament Union. They attend all meetings with the parliaments around the world, and they have almost the same characteristics of the parliament. So their role is the same. The only difference that is they are not elected, they are appointed. But when they are appointed, the members of the Shura Council, the same method of selecting deputies and senators, we do the same. That representation is very important. So the 150 members of the Shura Council, they represent all the states, all the different cities of the country, and the different tribes, different groups. So they are helping the government to take decisions. The process is very normal. It's like the parliament. If a member of the Shura Council has a comment about changing a law, about imposing or creating a new law, he just raises it in the Shura Council. The president of the Shura Council discuss it with the members, the 150. If the 150 finish their discussion, they vote. When they get the needed percentage of voting and the president of the Shura Council convinced, they send it to the government, to the experts. They form the agreement or changing. And when the government have approved, they send it back to the Shura Council to approve it from the Shura Council. So the relationship is integrated between the government and Shura Council, and it has this process and this system. This is in general. Yes. Also, I would like to talk about the foreign policy of Saudi Arabia. This is what we are invited to talk about. Regional policy of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is helping a lot in maintaining the stability in the region. We are the most stable country in the region. We are helping other countries to be stable. We intervene by helping governments to be stable, as we did with Egypt, as we did with Sudan, as we did with Yemen, as we did with many countries. We deal with legitimate governments. We help legitimate governments to maintain peace in the region. And we do this according to the international law. Because when Iran was intervening in Bahrain and encouraging people to do a coup against the government, which is illegal, which is against the United Nations rules and principles, we send troops to help the troops of the government to maintain stability in the region. Thank you. No problem. When Egypt, after difficult times, needed some help to maintain stability, we gave all the financial assistance to Egypt, to Lebanon, to Yemen. Even in Yemen, coordinate with the legitimate government that recognizes the international community, by United Nations, by the whole world. we help and we support the legitimate government to establish stability in Yemen, because a neighboring country, stable neighboring country, is important for us. If we have stable neighborhood, affect our stability. The problem happened in Yemen, the results of the instability in Yemen. We have about 2 million people, Yemenis, working and living in Saudi Arabia. If Yemen is stable and in good economical situation, those 2 million, they can go back and work in their country. But we are having this burden, this responsibility because of the political problem in Yemen. Syria, the same. When first internal problem happened between the people and the government, we were supporting the government. I remember King Abdullah, even he talked with Bashar al-Assad to give some freedom to the people to speak, to express themselves. But the young boy who has been killed just because he wrote some sentences in the wall ignited the whole problem in Syria. But we can give advice, we can help, but we cannot intervene. So the problem increased and it became a crisis. Thank God that we are still maintaining our stability and good living for our people, because without wise policies, we couldn't maintain this. Some people, they believe that Saudi Arabia is oppressing people and we do not have freedom of speech. We have freedom of speech. People, they can speak. People in Saudi Arabia can speak in Twitter, they can speak in media, they can speak directly with officials and princes and governors. But there is something very important in Saudi Arabia, is respect. We do not accept insults. We do not accept criticizing in impolite way and saying this is freedom. No, freedom, it doesn't mean disrespect others. Freedom, for us, freedom is respect. Freedom is expressing. So the people, they can express. Otherwise, if we do not have this freedom, otherwise we could have a very depressed community. But any visitor to Saudi Arabia, he will notice this. He will see that the people, they are happy, they are relaxed, they are not oppressed, they are not, we do not have protests, we do not have problems, very stable country. But accusation happened. Many media, they like to create information that not based in any facts. So regarding regional, we have also, of course, as I said, about stability. We have our neighbor, Iran, which is the most important element in instability in the region, by intervening in other countries and adopting this principle, exporting revolution. Exporting revolution is the sentence that they use to justify their intervention in other countries. And this is for us wrong. This is not acceptable. We respect our neighbors, we respect other countries. We do not intervene in internal affairs, but Iran does this and does it intentionally. So the problems with Iran for the last 30 years, since Khomeini came to, we are talking about more than 30 years, created because of this principle, exporting revolution, which Khomeini and other governments, they believe in exporting revolution. For us, Iran is a neighboring country, very important country, big country. The stability in Iran could help and flourish Saudi Arabia if we focus in economical and business rather than political and this agreement about political positions. So we are happy and looking forward working with Iran after the mediation of China and signing this memorandum of understanding agreement to reestablish relationship, open embassies. We hope it will succeed this initiative, and it will have a very positive impact in Saudi Arabia and in the region in general. This is regarding regional. We have two important regional organizations that Saudi Arabia work effectively, which is the Arab League and the GCC. The GCC is the Gulf Cooperation Council that contains 6 countries, very similar to our culture, very similar to our economy. Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, and Qatar. So the GCC headquarters is in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh. And we have an excellent relation with our 6 neighbors, our 5 neighbors. We are doing very well in integration. Maybe we are the most successful after the European Union, because a lot of similarities between the 6 countries, free of travel. People, they can travel from country to country without any passports. They can work in the 6 countries. Many characteristics already adopted and applied in the region between the 6 countries. And the other organization is the Arab League. The Arab League is the headquarters of the Arab League is in Egypt. The membership of the members of the Arab League is 22 countries, and we are very active. We participate in the meeting. We do our best to fulfill and apply all the decisions adopted by the Arab League. We have a nice and very productive initiative between South America and Arab League, which is the ASPA. The ASPA is an initiative by President Lula in 2005 to have a summit, to have a meeting every 2 years between Arab leaders and South American leaders. And it is a very successful initiative. First meeting was, the first summit was in Brasilia in 2005. The second was in Qatar. The third was in Beirut. The fourth was in Saudi Arabia. And the fifth was decided to be in Venezuela, but because of the crisis, it has been postponed. So we are looking in the future with the presence of President Lula to come back and reactivate ASPA and have another meeting and with this group, because it is very positive. The trade between the two groups doubled 2 or 3 times since 2005 until now. And this is a very positive, and I think and many people agree that if there's reactivated ASPA, it will help also to develop relationship between Arab countries and South American countries. Regarding the foreign policy of Saudi Arabia internationally, especially with superpowers, United States, Russia, and China. Last year, we hosted 3 summits. The first summit was President of China, with a bilateral meeting with the king, then GCC summit with the president of China, then Arab summit with the president of China. After 2 months, we had another summit with President Biden, with Saudi Arabia, with the GCC leaders, and with Arab leaders. And after a week, we had another meeting with the foreign minister of Russia, with Saudi Arabia, with GCC, with Arab foreign ministers. This indicates that we are friends and allied with China, with the United States, with Russia. It depends in our relation. It depends in our interests. So we are not left, we are not right. We deal with all friends, all countries in the same way. And we maintain excellent relation with China. The trade with China, the investments with China is excellent. The United States is more than excellent, regardless what they are saying in the media. What in the media have some criticism or some referring to the killing of Khashoggi, whatever old cases which has been by time revealed the truth that the killing of Khashoggi was used as for political purposes, not for real purposes. After the president of Turkey sent the file, he said, no, this is not our case. We send the file to Saudi Arabia. This is their problem and they can solve it. And the problem after a time appeared to everybody, not that for us, it was clear from the beginning, it is a political controlled. But I think the whole world knows that case is political, not a real problem. I think I hope not taking more time of my. Is it okay? Shall I continue? Or...
No, continues. I believe we will have some question, but
Yes.
but
with
you
pleasure.
want to finish now?
No, it's okay. No, I prefer questions. No, I prefer questions because it's more effective to verify things.
First of all, I apologize because my allergic attack that I suffered in the middle of the speech. Well, thank you because it was a very holistic approach about the very important the economic diversification for your country. You see the advantage of the gas and oil, but thinking to the future.
Yes, of course.
Using the resource to recreate your profile as economy and as a country. And secondly, because you put in connection not only the values, but the institutional national organization. That was very important. And finally, you offer us a very important approach with some central and specific points about your foreign policy. For this reason, I believe I finished my activity now. Manuel Cabral will be the moderator. And thank you again.
No, my pleasure. Thank you, Ambassador, for hosting me. It is very nice.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your presentation. I would like to ask you, you were talking about the relationships between your country and China. What about the United States? How is the relationship?
The United States, the relationship between Saudi Arabia is strategic. Strategic in the sense, it's not related to one president or one person. It is a relationship between two countries, two people, the nation of Saudi Arabia. It's not one person relation. Some criticism was directed to Saudi Arabia in certain time of election, and after the election, things changed. Every observer can tell the truth and it can figure out the truth very easily. In United States, when it is election time, they just say anything. But when presidents come to power and become responsible, and they know the real truth about the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States, they follow the right way to deal with Saudi Arabia. And this happened with many presidents in the United States. Our relationship is very strategic, very old, and it will continue, regardless of any criticism, regardless of any reports about problems, the disputes. All this happens, but it's not important. What is important, we have American companies working in Saudi Arabia. We have investments in the United States with American companies in the United States. We have trade. We have students studying in the United States. We have everything. We have people traveling and coming, tourists. We have many things. It's not only one aspect or another. So the volume of investments, volume of people traveling and living in the two countries, it's not small, and we are happy having this relation with the United States as an ally, as a friend, as a strategic country.
Very much. Is any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for a very exhaustive exposition. I have several questions.
Please.
No more than 10.
No more than 10. Okay. Now, one is referred to something that you more or less developed, referring to the crisis in Syria. And your government made an approach to Bashar al-Assad, and then it developed into a crisis which is still going on. So it was rather a surprise to see al-Assad
coming back.
So to the Arab States League. I would like you to comment on this decision and the invitation. The other one is how do you see the position of your country referring to the conflict in Ukraine, Russian invasion in Ukraine? And the last one, if I may, it's more like a bilateral concern, but the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Argentina, if you may say so.
With pleasure, with pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for raising these points. I think the most important objective of this meeting is clarifying things that are not clear for the people. And for me, for my country, I think everything for me is clear, but I don't know if those friends, is it so? It's nice to clarify. Thank you very much. Last decision, Saudi Arabia believe in collective decisions. I mean, in our decision, the United States requested Saudi Arabia to increase the production of oil. Some media people, they were criticizing, okay, no. We decide according to the members of the OPEC and OPEC Plus. So it's a collective decision. We are very influential. We are very important. Everybody knows that, we admit, but we take decisions according to our allies, according to our friends. So in oil, we decided with coordination with OPEC members and OPEC Plus. For the Arab League and inviting Syria to come back to the Arab League, it was coordinated between Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries. The problem has been running for almost 13 or 12 years now, and without any confirmed solutions. And the only victim is the people of Syria. The only after the earthquake, after the all the internal problems, the people still suffering. So is it true, okay to continue, or what is the other option? So when we discuss coming back of Syria to the Arab League, it was discussed that we would like to help Syria to solve all the internal problems. So it is clear in the communique issued by the Arab League that the Arab countries look for working with Syria to solve their problems. So the objective is to deal with Syria, to try to help Syria to solve the problems, internal problems that happening between the government and the people. So we are looking for easing the pressure on the people, easing the poverty, try to help the people and help the government, because 12 years and have nothing, outcome is nothing. So this is the object, and it is coordinated between Saudi Arabia and all our Arab countries, and they made this decision to invite back Syria to come back to the Arab League. Regarding the second question about Ukraine, of course, Saudi Arabia is committed to the international community and to the United Nations principles. And in the United Nations principles, we are member, we are active member, we are committed. It's not acceptable to invade a sovereign country. And this is our position. We reject, we refuse any invasion, any intervention in the internal affairs of other countries, sovereign countries. So we condemn this act. Our position is very clear, but we didn't cut relationship with Russia. Still, we have our trade running. Still, we have our bilateral, but our position is very clear that it's not acceptable to invade a nation. And we are supporting any initiative. I mean, Prince Mohammed, he talked with the two presidents before and tried to intermediate between the president of Russia and the president of Ukraine, but without any results. Saudi Arabia donated $400 million help and aid to Ukraine. Saudi Arabia invited the president of Ukraine to attend the Arab Summit, which was last week. So we have respect, we support Ukraine to maintain the sovereignty and freedom and the border of the country. But we need to help the two parties to get together and negotiate and find a solution, because military, it's not a solution. It has been many experiences around the world that military create disaster, military activities create disaster, but doesn't create peace. So this is our approach with Ukraine. Regarding the bilateral relationship between us and Argentina, we have an excellent relation with Argentina. Since the opening of embassies and since the signing of the memorandum of understanding to establish relationship with Argentina 75 years ago, we didn't have any problem. We didn't have any dispute. We have excellent relations. But the objective is enhancing and developing the relationship. This is the objective. This is what we are looking for. We have investments in Argentina. We have two big, huge companies working in Argentina, investing in Argentina. One called SABIC. SABIC is a petrochemicals company who has been working in Argentina for 25 years. And this company It is the second largest company in the world in petrochemicals. And it is 80% owned by the by Aramco, the oil company, and 20% owned by shares and by the Saudi people. It is in the stock market. So this important company has been here for 25 years. And we have another company investing in Argentina called Almarai. They are exporting alfalfa. They have farms exporting alfalfa to Saudi Arabia. And the investment has been running for 11 years now. And there are some Argentinian companies investing in Saudi Arabia. We have Pago company. They are establishing now a factory in Saudi Arabia to produce medicine for animals. And we have Tichin. They own a factory in Saudi Arabia to produce pipes. And thank God we have all successful investments, but we are looking for more investments in the future. Still, the environment in Argentina now not encouraging investments, and this is what we are talking about with the government. But we hope that it will be much better, so we can invite more companies to come to Argentina or invest in Saudi Arabia. This is one of the important facts that we are raising with our colleagues and friends in the Argentinian government. Please don't look about investments only in Argentina. Investments, it means benefits, money. If business people get money by investing in Saudi Arabia, let them do. If they get benefits and money investing in Argentina, let them do, but do not condition investments only in Argentina, because it's not economically, it's not business-wise. And we are working in this concept with Argentinian colleagues and friends. There are some delay in signing agreements for protecting and enhancing investments until now not signed, till we are talking with the government. Also, there's another important agreement is avoiding double taxation, which is very important for business people to do business, which means for any businessman who pay taxes in Argentina, he doesn't need to pay in Saudi Arabia, or who in Saudi Arabia doesn't need to. Avoiding double taxation is an agreement between the two governments that help business people to do business, but it's still not signed. We are in the process and negotiating. So we are looking for the future that we can manage to create a better environment for investments in the two countries.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Right. I learned it's a huge danger to let Ambassador Roldan Vasquez ask because I was also gearing towards a bilateral question, but I'm going to rephrase it and try to be a bit more specific. First of all, it's a true pleasure to welcome you here at CARI.
Thank you.
We met, as we were talking before, 3 years ago in Riyadh, while Ambassador Gilardoni was still there. And we've met while I was at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We worked together quite hard, and my former team is connected there. I can see them. And also when I was at the Ministry of the Economy. And there were some issues that we identified as being key for a bilateral relationship. You mentioned some. We worked a lot on food security, on renewables, on investment, on infrastructure, more recently at Ministry of the Economy with irrigation projects. So there's a lot of issues that could foster and bring a relationship to a next level. Also, as you mentioned, there are a few issues on the way, and we did talk about those ones in Riyadh back in March 2020. Some of them regarding, as you well mentioned, the double taxation and investment protection. But also remember at the time we did mention the need for having a joint trade committee and the ministerial visit, which we managed.
Yes.
Successfully managed. We
Yes.
took quite a lot of hard work, and I can see Director Maria Rieta smiling as well, because we worked quite hard on that. So my question would be, what are some of those, as I said, you did mention already the double taxation and the investment protection, which I agree with you, they're quite key. But what other keys do you identify, or areas to propel our relationship truly to a next level?
Yes, of course. Of course, any investment, this is what is raised by some business people. They look for a very stable exchange rate for foreign currencies, because when a businessman comes, if he put $10 million investments in Argentina, and after 3 months, the dollar changed, went down, it means he lost the real value of his money. So this is very, very crucial for business people to invest the change rate. Also, the freedom of moving the capitals, the money for the investments, very important. Any businessman who would like to invest, he would like to have the full control of it. If you put restrictions, people get scared, they do not come. So you have to give him the whole freedom of controlling his money. But if you put restrictions, you cannot take this money back, you cannot move this money from here to here. They get worried, and they do not look for investment. So this is very important, two elements that play a major role in investments. Yes.
Un segundo, embajador. From Zoom, Santiago Mascaro asks you, Ambassador, what is the current state of Saudi Arabia relationship with Qatar?
No, with Qatar, the main problem with Qatar was we raised this publicly in the media. We talked about it publicly. And it was the case of dispute between us and Qatar, that there are some radicals who were living in Qatar, supported by the Qatari government. And this is not match with our criteria in the GCC. The GCC countries, as I told, we do collective decisions. So the 6 leaders, they sit, they decide, they talk. So we were sending messages to the government of Qatar, please, radicals, no need, we do not need radicals to create political problems in the region. And this is the main issue between us and Qatar, and it has been solved. So now we have excellent relationship. We came back as brothers, and there is no any differences or dispute occurring in our relationship with Qatar. It is as excellent as it was before.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you, Excellency. OIC has a headquarters in Jeddah, and in particular, you have some development program cooperation there. I believe it's interesting if you can update a little about that. And the second matter is about tourism in Saudi Arabia. That is quite new, at least as you said in the media. Now they are talking about that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ambassador, for raising these 2 points. I see. All right. I didn't touch on the OIC. The OIC is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which has 54 members country. We have governments, not organizations. 54 country, they are members of this organization, the headquarters in Jeddah, and we work with those friends and those countries to help and coordinate with them the Islamic affairs. And one of the, just as an example, just an example of what kind of cooperation we have. We have a huge number of Muslims. You are talking about 2 or 3 billion people around the world, Muslims, and every Muslim he would like to do the pilgrimage. So we talk with governments to coordinate such relationship. We decided a long time ago that every Islamic country, 1% of the population can do the pilgrimage, so we can have the 2 million people or 2.5 million coming to Saudi for pilgrimage. This kind of cooperation, we discuss, of course, when you, and the problem of terrorism was attached and related to Islam. One of the topics that we were discussing in OIC, and there were some issues between the countries. So it is an important organization, and it has not only Islamic countries. It's countries with a high percentage of Muslims, they can be members. So we have members in all continents. We have Guyana, Suriname members. We have Asian countries. We have Bosnia and Herzegovina as members. So we have members around the world. And the objective is coordinating with governments against terrorism, against creating peace, different topics. But it is very important. And the other topic is terrorism. You are right, I didn't touch on this, although it is very important. Tourism is a very active sector of economy in Saudi Arabia. In the past, people, they look for Saudi Arabia as only a place for going to the holy places for Muslims, not as a tourist destination. Now, it is a tourist destination because visas are very easy. 1 day or 2 days, you can get visas. We signed agreement with 50 countries that can apply through the internet and get the visa through the internet and visit Saudi Arabia easily and comfortable. Many countries, Britain, for example, we can, for Saudis and for British people, they just log in the internet, fill an application, 24 hours, they can travel and get the visa by email. So the country is very open, welcoming visitors around the world, no restrictions. We have a lot of activities, very international bands, shows, very important sports activities, historical places, beautiful natural places like the Red Sea for diving. So the country is very active in tourism sector. One of the characteristics of the tourism sector may be appointing Messi as ambassador of tourism, which attract a lot of
very close to lose the thing.
No, it's very important. attract a lot of attention. Yes. So we are doing well, and we are welcoming Argentinians to visit Saudi Arabia in any time.
Another question?
Yes, from Moscow.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your nice presentation. Oh, I'm losing my voice.
We are in the good sense.
Yeah, we're Ambassador, and then also Ambassador Ramon was talking about and Ambassador Roldan Vasquez as well, about the relation between Argentina and Saudi. I was thinking we have, and I agree with you, with all of you, we have some pending issues that we should start working on, or we should keep on working. I think G20 was a good opportunity for maybe going ahead with some of these pending issues. Unluckily, we have the pandemic, so we couldn't go ahead working on that. You made like a short list of what we have to work on. I would add maybe we have this investment, Saudi investment in Argentina, and we have this recent Argentinian investment in Saudi. I think we should also work on air connections. We were kind of working on that. Saudi was planning to open roads to Argentina. When I left Saudi less than 2 years ago, they were opening another airline. Saudi was opening an airline for, let's say, to open Saudi as a touristic destination for travelers around the world. So this might be the opportunity to connect Argentina with Saudi more directly. And then also maritime traffic, it's also hard. We talking with Almarai and also with SABIC, exporting the goods they're producing in Argentina to the Middle East. So this is another pending issue we should maybe keep working on. And the other one is, I'm surprised you didn't mention it, the visas. We were talking about tourism, you were talking about visa agreements with other countries. We have this
Yes.
there's homework to do.
Yes, yes.
So, and together with this, what I would say is, I was saying that for the 3 and something years I was in Saudi, we're very similar cultures. We look different, but you look Argentinian today. If I wear my job, I would be a Saudi. So this we have to also work on, connecting our two peoples. When you say Saudi in Argentina, most people would say maybe oil, Bedouins, camels, dates, and Balkans. And when you say Argentina and Saudi, it would be much less the same. Say wine, football, tango, gauchos, and we're much more than that. So with this 3 other pending issues apart from the ones you said, I think tourism, trade, investment, and cultural exchange would enhance. It was not actually a question, but you said I might be the last one talking, so maybe you had already said whatever we had to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. I agree with you about what you mentioned. The recent, you remind me to touch on the recent developments. The last 2 years, we had a very important visit of our foreign minister when your center hosted him for a lecture. 1 year and a half almost.
Yeah,
so, yes.
my God.
Yes, and his visit was.
Time is flying.
Yes, the time is flying. And his visit was very important because it played a major role to develop relationship. His meetings with the foreign minister, Minister Cafiero, during the G20 meetings for foreign affairs ministers in Rome and in China. So these meetings create a lot of understanding and create a push for relations between the 2 countries. And we had also the visit of Minister Cafiero to Saudi Arabia, which also was very important. And they adopted a roadmap to develop relationship, trade and investments between the 2 countries, which is very important. Maybe Maria can comment on this if she wants, because she is the very important engine of this roadmap. We adopted this map and we are fulfilling all the steps. It is a roadmap for 2023, which include participating in events and exhibitions, meetings, bilateral with business people, many projects and that both teams from the both countries, we are going and fulfilling all the steps of this roadmap, which is very positive and very nice. And we hope after fulfilling this roadmap to create another roadmap for 2024, because this is what we should do. And this is doing well. Maybe we can, by continuous contact and coordination, we can improve things. Regarding the airlines and transportation, I agree with you, they are very important. We had also a very important visit of Secretary Jorge Neme and Raul Khalil, and who visited Saudi Arabia and attended an international forum for minerals. And during that forum, they had some meetings with Saudi officials. And one of the topics that they discussed is opening a shipping line between Saudi Arabia and Argentina, which is very important to enhance and develop trade. And I think it is under discussion, which is very important. For the airline transport, Saudi Arabia created the 4th airline. We have 3 airlines in Saudi Arabia, national 3, and the 4th has been created. The government requested 200 airplanes, and they will open new destinations. So we hope the new destinations will include Argentina, because a lot of Saudis, they like Argentina. And also we hope to manage to facilitate visas, because airlines without visas, they will do nothing. The airplanes will come empty. So future is promising. We are looking for better, and we hope we will manage with the help of our colleagues and friends in this Argentinian governments. Saudi Arabia doesn't treat with parties. We treat with governments. So the government in charge is our friend, is our colleagues, the one who work with, regardless if they are left or right or up or down. It's not important for us. We are dealing with Argentinian people, with Argentinian government. So I hope we will continue working with Argentina for the better. Thank you.
Some question more?
No more questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Our Vice President, we have the
Closure.
closure.
I would like just to thank Manuel Cabral and members of the committee for organizing this important session. And to thank you, especially to you, Mr. Ambassador. It was a very clear, interesting conversation about the situation in your country, bilateral relations, situation in the Middle East. It seems to me it's very clear the potential of the relation between our countries. And please count with Gary, whatever we can do to improve relation between our countries and the dialogue. We're here for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Please. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to attend this meeting with friends and colleagues, old and new. My pleasure to meet with your members through the internet. Please feel free to ask any questions through you or direct to the embassy, and we will be more than happy to reply to your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure.
Thank you.